We had a lot of requests about short sales, what they are, what's the process, and so forth. So I want to first say outline what a short sale is. A short sale is basically negotiating with the lender or lenders, if there is more than one mortgage, to take a lower payoff. And it could be because either the loans on the property are more than what the property is actually worth, or because there are several liens on title. And again, you cannot really sell the property because all these liens are more at the time of closing than what you can sell the property for. Or it could be because you're trying to do something with the lender to negotiate to stop a foreclosure. Okay, so short sale is basically a term that says, okay, I'm going to ask this lender or lenders, if there are more than one mortgage, to negotiate down their mortgage amount so that we can bring it to below what the property is worth. Now, about 12, 15 years ago, with the mortgage crisis and everything that happened, a lot of people started to do short sales as a way to carve out equity from properties where there was no equity. It seems like all the mortgages were upside down, right? When the housing crisis happened. So the thing is, you couldn't sell it, but also for investors, there is nothing they could do because there was no equity there to make any money or even pay a commission for a real estate agent. So short sales started becoming really popular because now, as investors, we could carve equity out of assets where there was no equity, and at least enough for us to make our 10, 15, $20,000 or more profit. And so they became really popular for that reason. And to today, people are still looking. A lot of times, people are highly leveraged owners, and they say, I can't sell the property. By the time I pay off the mortgage, is actually, I would have to come up with money at the table. And so that's where short sales come in. Now, short sales are done before foreclosures, okay? Meaning that if a property going foreclosure, you can't do a short sales at the auction. You cannot do a short sales after the auction when becomes an REO, a real estate owned by the bank. So it has to be done before foreclosure. And also, you have to look at, depending on your state, if you are under a judicial or non-judicial state as far as foreclosures. So now you can find out the information. There is a good website, it's foreclosurelaw.org, where they actually show to you, for each state, if you're judicial and non-judicial. The main difference between judicial and non-judicial is how long it takes for the foreclosure process to go through. Non-judicial is pretty much automatic. When the property gets filed, a notice of default, there is only so many weeks before it goes to court. There is no lawsuit or court involved. With judicial, the bank actually has to file a lawsuit against the owner in order for this property to go to foreclosure. Okay, so the thing is, as an investors, you know how much time you have to work with. My suggestion is, unless you come across a situation where the owner pretty much is saying, well, I cannot sell this property, and the reason they're not selling it is because they owe more than what the property is worth, then you can definitely suggest to do a short sale. Okay, now if the owner said, but this is also could be a good marketing strategy for properties that are in foreclosure with an actual foreclosure date, because then seems that the owners are more motivated to do this, to say to the owner, I can help stop the foreclosure with a short sale if you have enough time to do so. Okay, so short sales is a good tool to do a lot of things. Either you can, like I said, go ahead and stop a foreclosure with enough time. You can get equity out of the property when there's no equity. You can go ahead and bring the liens down so the property can be sold. There is an advanced strategy of using short sales for properties that are in bankruptcy court, because for a lot of time bankruptcy court property, the trustees don't want these properties because there is no equity, or they're upside down by the time all the liens are paid off. So the thing is, you come in as an investor and buy the deed from the trustee, which is an advanced strategy. I just want to say to you, the short sales can really be used for a lot of different things. Now, to just give you a quick overview of the short sale process, once you have located a possible property that needs to be a short sale, you would want to really contact the bank and see if they have what they call a short sale package, because most banks want to use their own forms in short sale. And then they will also give you a checklist on what they need from the owner. So you have the owner then fill out all the paperwork, sign it together with the sale contract that you're going to give him. And also from the checklist, you want to gather up the documents from the owner. And there is a couple of extra documents I give as extra, which help a lot for the short sale to go through. So, that's material that I have included into my training. But anyway, so you want to gather with all the documents from the owner, including the documents that the bank wants you to fill out, including a few extra items that helps you to really get the short sale to go through. And then you send this to the bank, and then they will assign a loss mitigator. You want to keep in contact and follow up with a loss mitigator throughout the whole process of the short sale, and give them what they need as fast as you can. So, you want to be kind of the between person between the bank and the seller, right? And then you go through the process. They're going to order an appraisal or a broker price opinion. You definitely want to be there when they do the BPO, so that you can possibly talk to the BPO or the appraisal and see, if you kind of what they call influence the appraisal, point out what's wrong with the property, so they will help in the evaluation. Then after that, they're gonna tell you what they're willing to take for the property, if what you offered, or most likely there's gonna be some type of negotiation. Let's go back and forth. Don't take what the bank wants as set in stone. When they come back after an appraisal, they expect you to basically negotiate, to go back and forth until you guys come to an agreement. I have a few ways to also kind of get the appraisal more towards what I want do. So I have a few strategies that I use to do that as well. And then once you have an approval letter from the bank, then you have a certain time to close. Make sure that you read the approval letter thoroughly to see if there is any restrictions or any things that you need to get done on the property. And also the fact is, what is the time that you need to close, and also if you need to hold on to the property for a certain amount of time before you flip it. And then you market the property. Usually start marketing the property for a wholesale deal a couple of weeks before I get the formal approval, when I have a verbal approval, so that it gives me a little extra time. And then you can wholesale the property. You can do fix and flip. You can buy it outright. You can do a buy and hold. You can do anything like you would do with any other properties. The thing is, like I said, short sale is really just another fancy term for you to say, you know what, I'm going to carve and I'm going to get the property down with all the liens and judgments and mortgage, so I can go ahead and sell the property, right? So that's what it is. But you can wholesale, you can do anything else. I mean, there are some restriction on title sometimes that you cannot flip it for 30 days to 6 months, but I have legal workarounds to that. So there are ways that you can still flip it same day and wholesale it. That's part of, depending on the situation, I have different things I do with that as well. But that's pretty much what the short sale process is, and one key factor also I want to suggest is that you do work with a title company that has done short sales in the past, that they are willing to help you negotiate. Because when you get a title that has been, especially on a property that's going in foreclosure, short sale can be done properties that are not behind on their payment and don't have to go in foreclosure. So don't think that short sales are done only in foreclosure property. It can be done on properties that are not going in foreclosure. However, a lot of banks, it's kind of funny here, because a lot of banks want the property to be in default before they'll consider a short sale. So unfortunately, sometimes they push people to go in default so they can do a short sale, which is not fair. But there are situations where the banks is fine in doing it, especially if the property is vacant and vandalized, or there's some issues with the property, right? If the bank doesn't want it to sit there and lose even more value. But one of the things that you really want to work with is with banks, with title companies that are willing to help you to negotiate. okay, that are willing to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to negotiate with the HOA. I'm going to negotiate with the sewer company, utility companies, the city liens, whatever it is, beside the lender. Because the lender already negotiated, right? You already have it done with them. But then might be a lot of other issues, right? With the title that need to be negotiated, credit card judgments, repossessions, that type of thing. So you want to have a title company that say, because my experience has been that your title company will have much better success in getting all these liens written down or dismissed than you would have as an interested party. So you definitely, part of your process will be to choose the right title company willing to do that. But that's basically a high overview what short sales are. Like I said, you can check a website like foreclosurelaw.org to find out more of the requirements if your state is a judicial or non-judicial. There is like the process, like I mentioned, that is basically, going through the process and the motion. Keep in mind that the owner is still entitled to the property until the day of closing. So, he signs off on the property at the end because the property is not being foreclosed yet. So the owner still is entitled. And so you really want to make sure you establish a good connection with the owner, that the owner is, is something that you can work with, somebody you can work with, because there is a lot of interaction. And one important thing is from the beginning of this, you need to make sure the owner is on board. So establishing a rapport and knowing that the owner is a win-win situation and the owner feels that he has an advantage at working with you on a short sale than letting this property go in foreclosure and forget about it is crucial. So you want to see what the owner wants. Maybe he wants to stay extra time in the property. Maybe he wants some money at the end. Whatever he wants, I'll work with them because that's a motivation factor. Otherwise, a lot of time the owner say, I don't care, the property is not worth anything, there's no equity, I'm just going to let it go to foreclosure. So what's in for them is so important. So hopefully this gave you a little more of an idea what short sales are about. I would love to talk to you more and see if this is something that you want to do, pursue properties that are in foreclosure and see if you can do short sale, or pursue properties that are in bankruptcy court, which is a great strategy that nobody really talks about. I definitely can help you there. And so I would love for you to schedule a call with us. So, fill out go ahead and click on the link below or fill out the form. And some of this video will be posted on a site where actually there is a form for you to fill out, and contact us and see how we can help you to really do this. I started doing short sale back in the beginning of 2000s. I've heavy going to short sales back in 2007, 2008. To the point that within a few weeks I had over 30 short sales under contract and hired 2 full-time short sale negotiators to do it for me. So, I know pretty much a lot about short sales, and I can definitely help you if this is something that you're interested in, or anything else for the matter, like buying properties at auction, courthouse, bankruptcy courts, and so forth. So take care. Thanks for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon.